we have even more rumblings that something big is coming for this Red Sox team. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. In today's video, we're going over the latest news / rumors / reports, whatever you want to call them, surrounding the Red Sox offseason and why I'm starting to believe that something big is on the horizon for this Red Sox team, plus what this means for the Red Sox offseason. But before we get into that, just a reminder, we are still raising money for Movember. It's only been a week now, and we're already almost halfway towards our goal of $1,500 by the end of the month. If you guys want to help us raise some money for an absolutely fantastic cause, maybe even win yourself some really awesome prizes, the link to the Movember donation site and any information about it is in the description and the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for taking a second and looking into that, and of course, clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so we've been having this sort of will they, won't they discussion basically twice a week or almost every day at this point, honestly, over the last few weeks, specifically since the regular season ended. And it feels like everyone that could talk about the Red Sox, that is talking about the Red Sox right now, is saying a very similar thing. And that trend just keeps on continuing because last night we got an article from Jon Heyman regarding Juan Soto in which he talked about what he expects from the Red Sox offseason. Saying, quote, word is they're quietly laying the groundwork to begin spending and competing again after completely laying low for years. But this is Jon Heyman, right? This is a entirely different beast than a lot of different reporters on the open market for a couple of different reasons. Reasons we've already talked about this offseason, but reasons I'm going to reiterate again. Jon Heyman is, one, a pretty big mouthpiece for Scott Boras, right? He's a guy who is going to promote Scott Boras' clients. He's going to connect Scott Boras' clients to teams because that's where he gets his information. So sometimes it's not all that reliable. He's also been historically not very accurate when it came to Red Sox reporting. I mean, last year, he continued to connect Jordan Montgomery to the Boston Red Sox, despite the fact that the Red Sox weren't really ever totally in on the Jordan Montgomery sweepstakes. Jordan Montgomery just flat out didn't want to come here. Stuff over the last couple of years has pointed to Jon Heyman not exactly being the most reliable Red Sox source. However, Jon Heyman coupled with a couple of other national reporters, now that's a bit of a different story, right? Once you start getting multiple guys saying very similar things, it starts to become a trend. That's where you could start to put a little bit of weight to these words. And don't worry, I do have some evidence of other national reporters saying something similar. In fact, just this morning, Jim Bowden put out an article talking about this offseason where once again, he reiterated that the Red Sox are looking to make a big impact, saying, quote, the Red Sox want to improve their rotation and bullpen this winter, and I expect them to land at least one impact starter in free agency. Add that to the Jon Heyman and to Ken Rosenthal, who mentioned similar arguments, and all of a sudden, it becomes a bit harder to simply write off these guys saying that the Red Sox are going to do something impactful just simply to Jon Heyman being the mouthpiece for Scott Boras. Jim Bowden isn't as much of that guy. Ken Rosenthal certainly isn't that guy. You had Jeff Passan saying something similar along the lines of, I expect the Red Sox to actually do something this winter, or the Red Sox need to do something this winter. And all of a sudden, you've got a trend amongst national reporters here that is saying, hey, look, dummies, the Red Sox are actually going to do something. Now, again, if you sit here and you have to be skeptical about these guys saying that, but it's not only the national reporters, and this is where the belief starts to kick in just a little bit because it's also local reporters as well. We mentioned Alex Spear in a video, I believe, last week where he talked about what he's hearing about this Red Sox offseason, talking about the Red Sox finally having that urgency that we've wanted them to have, finally getting desperate enough to put some money on the table, even going as far as to predict that there will be at least $100 million plus contract given out by this Red Sox team this winter. And Pete Abraham yesterday said something very similar from the agent point of view. He said during the GM meeting specifically that several agents, Boras among them, have mentioned that the message from the Sox is that ownership is committed to adding high-end talent and the team plans to be active in the free agent market. Now, I will say this, agents have probably the most to gain gain by putting the Red Sox name out there, right? Guys who represent players on this open market, putting a big market team like the Red Sox connected to their free agent obviously instantly creates a bit of a market. Other big market teams may be desperate to not have the Red Sox go after these guys and understand what their spending potential could possibly be, raising the price of whatever free agent is attached. But again, that in a vacuum is a little bit skeptical, but that combined with Alex Spears' conversations, Jim Bowden's conversations, John Heyman's conversations, this front office's conversations, right? All of a sudden, it starts, at what point do you start to say, okay, how could this possibly be a giant conspiracy? Because is it possible that national reporters, local reporters, agents, and the front office of this team are all spewing the same thing just simply to make the Red Sox look good, simply to protect the owners of the Boston Red Sox? Yeah, I guess it is possible, but at the same time, too, breaking this down a little bit, you look at the national reporters and what do they have to gain protecting this Red Sox ownership? It's not much, right? Maybe there's a relationship they don't want to break there, but their job is to report on 30 baseball teams. They don't have to be loyal to one ownership in this league. They don't have to do that. You look at the local reporters, specifically Alex Spear, he's built a reputation on being fair and unbiased towards the Boston Red Sox. He's been pretty harsh on them over this last year, right? And I think a lot of people attach bias to him naturally because he works for the Boston Globe and that's owned by FSG, but there's really no evidence in Alex Spear's history with the Boston Globe that points to him being a mouthpiece for this ownership. In fact, again, he's been pretty open about what he disagrees with how this Red Sox team has been run. Pete Abraham has been pretty outspoken about how he doesn't like how things have been run for this Red Sox team lately, right? He certainly has no reason to protect this Red Sox ownership group. And then you look at the agents. Again, agents have a lot to gain, but also at the same time, too, they don't have loyalty to the owners of the MLB. In fact, that's like their enemy number one. They are trying to beat these guys. They're not trying to protect them. And then you look at the front office of this team who's been saying similar statements basically since even before the season ended, and they probably have the most to gain by protecting their bosses, right? They probably are the ones who, if any of these guys are going to be mouthpieces for the ownership, it's going to be the front office of the Red Sox. I don't think that's some sort of major discovery or anything, but at the same time, too, they know that words are flat out empty for this fan base right now. They know that the words and the hype that they build up, if they can't meet those expectations, things are going to go really south really quickly if they haven't already. All of a sudden, you put these people all together and the trend is everyone is screaming from the top of their lungs, hey, Red Sox fans, there is something brewing here with this Red Sox team. And my point is, at what point Red Sox fans, and rightfully so, do they stop believing that this is a conspiracy? Again, I understand that over the last couple of years, it has been a big problem with the Red Sox, that they have promised one thing and delivered something else, something that isn't to the point that they are promising. But how many people need to tell us, hey, there is something coming for us to finally believe it? And I think that's where I start to finally believe, right? Just logically looking at it, there are only so many people that could say that until I start to sit there and say, maybe there is something brewing with this Red Sox team. Now, I don't know what that point is where I stop being skeptical. I don't know who needs to say what for me to be like, okay, yeah, I expect the Red Sox to do something big. I think at this point, considering everything that has happened over the last couple of years, that point is simply the Red Sox actually doing it, right? Once the Red Sox actually put pen to paper, actually put money on the table, actually sign one of these impact starters, one of these impact players, and actually make this team significantly better via the free agent market, that's when I think I start to truly believe, you know what? Yeah, I think the Red Sox are going to do something big, right? Because I just simply can't get myself to truly believe what everyone is saying. But at the same point, too, I'm also not dumb, right? I think looking at trends and looking at just simply what people have to gain by saying the Red Sox are going to be impactful, I think there comes a point when everyone's screaming that the Red Sox are going to do something impactful, that belief starts to creep in. And I think I'm at that point right now. I think seeing just so many different avenues saying that the Red Sox are going to do something big has started to make me believe a little bit. Again, you're not just talking about one segment of reporting. You're not talking about just the front office saying the things they're saying. You're talking about every single possible person that could talk about the Red Sox saying the same exact thing. And to me, that absolutely carries some weight. Look, I don't want to have you guys fall for the same crap we've heard over the last couple of years. I don't want to fall for the same crap over the last couple of years. I'm just saying that I'm trying to connect the dots here, and the dots are all pointing in the exact same direction, and that's got me a little bit excited. Again, I just simply am not going to allow myself to get fully excited until we actually see something done, because I think that's where we're at in our Red Sox fandom, and I think that's a totally fair place to be in Red Sox fandom. I think a lot of people that are watching this would absolutely agree with me. I think you can believe all you want, but you're going to be skeptical until something actually happens. So that's where I'm at, but I just wanted to continue to point this out, that every single week, basically every other day at this point, we are getting more and more indications that this Red Sox team is no longer messing around. And there's part of me that's excited about that. That's all I'm saying. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think about what we've been hearing about this Red Sox team? And what point are you going to start believing again that the Red Sox are going to act like a big market team? What is it going to take for you to get there? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest Red Sox rumblings in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Don't forget, Movember's still going on. Make sure you click the link in the description or the comments and donate today. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.